Okay, DMC, this is lesson 6. We're going to talk about uncertain trading times, when you shouldn't be trading, and range-bound sort of price action. Okay, so reason we're talking about this today is just because I had seen something along the lines of basically a range day. Nothing really happened today, or as you would think, right? When you are uncertain, right? There's usually a trend, right? But when we're looking at the 4 hour, you can see on the bottom left here, you can see that we've had this pullback. There's nothing major, like we could be going up. You know, there's no recent break of anything. It's just kind of sitting there. Then you go down to the 1 hour, you're like, you know, here's the open, right? So here's the 1 hour. You've rejected off this side, right? And then you've also kind of had a wick on this side, right? Where it's down here, this wick there, right? So you can kind of see that 1 hour candle is really rangy. And then we're not making much for actual gains, right? We failed to gain that. We've then bought back up off this. Okay, where is it going to go? This is what I just call some range lock, where we have a range and we're not sure which direction it's going to go. Now, you would be able to figure this out, you know, using some advanced tactics, but you kind of have this range that you're going to be in all day. And you're seeing wicks on either side, right? We're seeing wicks. And every time you've got a wick like that, what you can do is, you know, you've got a wick there, so it's going to progress to the other side. And you're going to, you know, then when you fail this one, you're going to progress to the other side. And you can just drop it down time frames. But when you're not able to find a bias, that's basically all you can do is, you know, buy and sell the highs and lows based off of these failures to gain, right? Once the higher time frames show some confirmation of what's going to happen, right? Which is, you know, maybe this is a 1 hour where it's a really beautiful sweep, right? Or failure is the terms we like to use here. Failure to lose that level. Then you can say, okay, sure, now we know it's going to go up, right? Or now we see this really beautiful close and we've actually broken out from that range lock, right? We're no longer ranging back and forth, right? When range lock is basically the situation where you've got wicks on either side and you keep closing in the inside, right? There's no breakout, right? So now that we've broken out, okay, we can say for sure what we're going to be doing is continuing, right? So the whole scenario is you're looking at these higher time frames, failure, you target the other side, failure, you target the other side. And now that we've realized that we're out of that range lock, we can continue back into the trend, right? And most likely it's going to continue in that overall trend that we had before, right? Because we were in before, but we don't need to consider that. That's literally basically all we're teaching this lesson. The really huge key indication of range lock is when you have spinning top sort of shapes, right? Where giant wicks on either side. It's usually often right before news, so you can check that before FOMC. It's really common for FOMC or NFP, anything along those lines. Another thing that you might be uncertain about is, you know, maybe some uncertain closes, right? Like what happens if we close directly sort of like just past it? Well, you know what I mean? Like right here, for example, where we just barely close past it, or you close past one, but you fail the next one. So like, let's say there's another level here. Then the reality is you don't know what's going to happen, right? And these are the scenarios where you may want to just sit back on. And I don't have an answer perfectly for you for every single scenario yet, because, you know, maybe down the line I will have one. But, you know, let's say where's an example here? There was this one, actually, we were looking where we've re-entered this zone, right? But we've also failed this one, right? So it's uncertain, right? And when you've got uncertainty and different things telling you different signs, then why are you in, right? Now, what did happen is generally you do want to go with what the algorithms will be doing, where you did regain that. So what's going to happen is there's a little momentum down, you can get your entries, and then what you're going to be doing is targeting that side because you've regained this zone. Once you regain that zone, you're going to target the other side of the zone because there's nothing else in the zone, right? That must make sense to you. That's all I got for the range lock. Super easy lesson.